What's going on, everybody? My name is LBThaRealist with Surrealistic Studios, Surreal News, where the real is surreal. And it gets more surreal, folks. So I know people are probably wondering what I have to say on the whole Joe Rogan situation. I know I mentioned it before in a previous video that I would go ahead and talk about that situation. So what's going on with our bro Joe? What's going on with Joe, bro? Oh man. So recently, Joe Rogan has been in the news a lot. He's been attacked over his use of, the I word that I probably shouldn't say for fear that they might delete my channel. But about the Roni Roni and all that, he goes against the grain on that, and he doesn't toe the line. So they don't like that. So they sent the dogs after him. They dug up some dirt on your boy Joe, and it doesn't look good for your bro. No. So they actually caught him. They actually have a video online that's circulating that I'm going to play right now, and it's Joe Rogan using the N-word just flippantly, just without a care in the world. Now, mind you, before we get into this video, I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it. That's fine. For those of you that haven't, you may want to have your kids leave the room. It gets pretty bad. In addition to this, he also has a video of him saying or comparing black people to Planet of the Apes. That was probably worse than the N-word compilation video. But again, this is what we have, and I'll go ahead and give you guys my opinion after the fact. So let's go ahead and jump into this real quick.
The nigger thing.
Yes. Saying the word nigger.
I already said nigger.
He is just like nigger. Saying nigger.
She's calling you a nigger. It's like this
Boy, that he's a nigger and starts calling them niggers.
word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And then our niggers start saying nigger. To use the word nigger. Out the word nigger, see nigger, word nigger. Say nigger, and he couldn't say nigger. Most nigger. He takes us there. We get out, and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly.
This is his apology.
There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. And there's another clip that I have to address. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia, and we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab, and we got dropped off in this all-black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining, and I said we got out, and it was like we were in...
Wait a minute. I was trying to be funny. Excuse me for trying to make a joke. My bad.
Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes.
Let me go ahead and run that back.
Out, and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. It makes me sick watching that video.
And there we have it, folks. So just to give credit where credit is due, this video was actually put together by the Sean Weathers Show. Sean Weathers on YouTube here. So yeah, thank you, Sean. So there you have it, folks. Joe Rogan was talking very, very loose at the lips, using that N-word, throwing that around. And so this is how I feel about it, y'all. First of all, again, they're using this to attack Joe Rogan because they don't like what he has to say about the Roni Ron. They don't like that he's, not towing the line, and that he's so popular that he has a major influence and he's able to influence people on a grand scale. They don't like that, so they got to use this to attack him. Now, that being said, I hope this video is... Oh, God, there we go. That being said, Joe was hella wrong for this. He was hella wrong. And look, if you're white, there shouldn't be a situation where you feel it's necessary to use the word. You shouldn't use it. And I understand those of you that will say, well, censorship, don't, you shouldn't censor. That's a part of censorship, right? That's banning. You can't, you want to ban people from using the word. Look, I understand that. And honestly, no, I don't think like people should be fined or go to jail, for instance, for using that word. I do think that it should be just common sense. And of course, common sense ain't so common. But it should just be like public knowledge that you just don't use that word. You just don't go there if you're white or not black, honestly. Like, and that's just what it is. Now, if you're white, and this is just some situations here, I'm very situational, I'm very variables, I think about these things. So say you're white and you grow up in a black neighborhood. Should you use that word? Well, it gets tricky. Here's the thing. Or maybe you're Mexican, or maybe you're, Middle Eastern, whatever other race other than black or African. Look, if you like I said, go by the first rule. The first rule of thumb is you should never use it, just out of common sense, as a courtesy to your black brothers and sisters out there in the world. It's an ugly word that shouldn't be used because of the connotations that it has associated with it. You know what I'm saying? Slavery, Jim Crow, all of the racism that we're still dealing with today. Being 3/5 of a human. Like being less than cattle. Like you can't possibly understand that struggle, the pain and that struggle that black people live with every single day. We carry that with us every single day. And I know a lot of you don't think it's real. A lot of you think that we're just, it's way overblown and we're just, being crybabies or snowflakes, whatever you want to call us, whatever. It's not for you to understand. But to be a human is to understand, the human experience, to have empathy, because we all go through the same things. You know what I'm saying? So it's a word that should never be used because of the ugly connotations that it has associated with it. That should be common knowledge. Now, if you grow up in a black neighborhood and the people that are around you, if they say it's okay, then maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay in certain surroundings. I have people, one of my bros is not black, and, I give him the pass to use it around me because we just came up together in the same kind of environment, and it just got thrown around like that. It was never an issue with us. He's not white, he's Mexican. So, even though Mexican is still not black, and, first rule of thumb is if you're not black, you shouldn't use it. But he came up around us. It was never a thing with us, especially me, like, as long as you don't use the hard ER. And that was another rule of thumb. It was like, don't use the hard ER. There's no reason to use it in that way. There's no reason. It's not cool. It's not funny. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with Joe Rogan here. Is another point that I wanted to bring up. Joe Rogan got caught using that word so flippantly, around his white brethren and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like his white folks, like people that he felt comfortable using that word around. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things where he's just like one of those goofy guys that thinks it's funny to use that word because it's a word that you shouldn't use. So people like to test boundaries all the time, and you tell them not to do something, they want to do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to do the opposite of whatever you tell them. So you tell them you shouldn't use that word. That's the first thing they want to do, to be edgy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be edgy. Everybody has to be, rebellious in that kind of way, which that kind of way is like, what? There's no real point to that. You know what I'm saying? If it's you just using the word to you in reference to something, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not an issue. But if you're just using it to just use it and you're throwing it around, it's like, come on now. Now you're just being loose at the lip. And you deserve to be checked about that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about it. Now, I feel kind of weird because it was the same kind of situation with Cenk Uygur. So I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? Like, when Cenk Uygur did it from the Young Turks, or the middle-aged McCarthyites, I had an issue with him doing it, using it flippantly and throwing it around. And I have an issue with Joe Rogan doing it as well, even though I understand in both situations, context matters. In both situations, context matters. But there was one clip where, and I don't really have time to find it right now, but there's one clip where Joe Rogan actually dared one of his white colleagues or guest on his podcast, he dared him to use the word. And in the way that he dared him to use the word, it was like, go ahead, say it. Say. He was like a devil. He was like the serpent in the garden. He was like, say it. Say it. You know, like, he's like, what are you daring him to say it for? And the dude he felt comfortable enough, and he felt like he was being called out, so he said it. And when he said it, you could tell like he felt a certain feeling when he said the word, like, oh yeah, I said it. I said the word that everybody doesn't want me to say. Yeah, I said it. What are you gonna do about it? It's like, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird thing to witness as well. It's like, first of all, why do you feel it necessary to dare a white guy to say that? What are you hoping to prove by that? Are you trying to get him in trouble? Are you trying to make yourself look like an a-hole? Like, what is the point? And the guy that said it, it's like, come on now. You're gonna succumb to peer pressure. You're gonna use the word because he dared you to do it, so you feel peer pressure to use it. Now you feel all powerful because you said it. Now you're on a podcast and you think you can't get touched. You know, the boldness of these people to do these things, you know what I'm saying, is really unfortunate. So I think it's unfortunate, like I said, in both the cases of Joe Rogan and Cenk Uygur. It's not okay. It's not okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about the situation. I'm trying to think if there's any more points about this. It's just one of these things where Joe Rogan felt comfortable enough to do this in his setting. And to be quite honest, look, situations and conversations like this do occur in the black community as well. The difference is the black community, when we do it, we're not coming from a place of power. We're coming from a place of being the oppressed people, you know, that had racism thrown on us. We live with this every single day. It's not something that stopped. We're constantly being looked down because of our race. And yes, there are a lot of good people out here in the world that do not look at color, that do not look at race. I'm not talking about those people. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the people that are still left, that were still brought up under racism, that still use race, you know, and racist things, racist jokes to try to be edgy or to try to be funny or to try to get ahead on somebody. And for Joe Rogan to use that Planet of the Apes line, that was worse than saying the N-word, honestly. That was worse than saying the N-word, because he was literally saying that because there were no white people around, that he walked into Planet of the Apes. Because there were nothing but black people. He was in a black neighborhood. So you automatically equivocate black people with apes. And just for the record, everybody, you know, people of all races look like different animals. And there's a lot of white people that look like apes too. You know, look at that guy named, what's his name? Ron Perlman, Hellboy, the actor. If you ask me, you know what I'm saying? He kind of has those features. He has those strong features like that. A lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. People look like animals. It's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But to just say that one race looks like that, and the history behind that, you know, being 3/5 of a human, you know what I'm saying, and being less than, you know, come on now, like it shouldn't have to be explained. What's understood ain't got to be explained. But for whatever reason, I still have to do this because common sense ain't so common. So, look, you shouldn't use the word, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be equivocating black people with apes. He knows he was wrong for that. That's why he had to do that apology video. He acknowledged he was wrong for that. And when I saw the apology video, my initial response was that, you know, I thought it was a sincere apology. I thought it was a very sincere apology, and he meant it. It was heartfelt. He knew he effed up. He knows that he effed up, and that's why he had to do that video. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's people trying to cancel him over this. I don't think Joe Rogan should be canceled over it. I think a lot of people have used the word, a lot more people than you think have used the word, you know, white people and other people that are not black. So if we go around trying to cancel everybody that just use the word, we're going to cancel 95% of white people because it happens a lot. It's nothing you could do about it. Stop. Us as black people, one thing I think we need to do is stop being so triggered by these things. Stop being so triggered by just a word, because if you keep answering to it, they'll keep calling you it. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I like, I love it when people of different races call each other that word. Honestly. And it's kind of a mixed feeling, because it's like, okay, nobody should use it, but as long as they don't say the hard ER, it's like it's okay depending on the setting and depending on how they use it. Still, it's like, okay, that can make it a little better. And if it's funny, it's like, okay, you good, you good, you good. You know what I'm saying? But when I hear like a person of a different race call another person of their same race and they're not black, that word, that makes me feel good. And the reason why it makes me feel good is because to me, it's like they're equivocating themselves with that word. So it's not just black people that are the N words. You know what I'm saying? We're not the only N words. You could be an N word. You could be an N word. You're all N words in your own N wordy kind of way. You know what I'm saying? As bad as that sounds, I know there's somebody out there that understands what I'm talking about. It's like it's not just us. So when you strip that negative energy away from just being on one people, it doesn't have that same negative connotation anymore, because it's not just being labeled on one people. It's being labeled, upon everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say about the matter of folks. Joe Rogan knows he messed up. I'm not mad at Joe Rogan. I think a lot of people said the word, and the Planet of the Apes line. Yeah, I am kind of mad about that one, because it's like, come on, man, that wasn't funny. And he acknowledged that it wasn't funny at the time. I don't think they showed it in this clip, but when he said the Planet of the Apes line, he did acknowledge that it was a racist thing to say. He said, I shouldn't say that because Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So he knows. He knows. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not mad at Joe Rogan. It is what it is, man. A lot of people say it. And like I said, people in other communities, black community, other communities, say their own things about other cultures. As long as we have love for each other, at the end of the day, we're all different, but we're all the same. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all the same. And we're all different, and that's okay. I love my brown skin, love your black skin, love your white skin, your tan skin, your red, blue, purple, pink, and orange skin. Love all the colors of the rainbow skin. You feels me? Love, peace, and light, folks. Remember, you already know what to do. I don't even got to say it. If you like the video, do what you do. Until then, folks, I'm hoping everybody is well. That's what I have to say on the Joe Rogan matter. It is what it is. All right? I'm out.